Thank you, Carol. Well, thank you, Carol. Thanks for the introduction and pulling this together. It's a pretty neat thing to step out here and see all this red, white, and blue. And red, white, and blue, of course, stands for the United States of America. And whether you're happy or blue the day after the election, I hope we're still the United States of America, still pulling in the same direction, still living on the same dreams. And part of this campaign is about laying out the path to restore our American dream. You know, Marilyn and I have had the great good fortune and gift from God to live the American dream. We fell in love back in high school. We got married in 72. We didn't have anything going for ourselves by 75. We had a negative net worth of $5,000, and she was waiting tables for tips. And I looked at that and I thought, somebody's going to have to take charge. And I didn't realize that if I tried to do that I didn't build that. But I came back home that day and I said to Marilyn, guess what? Today I'm a man. And she looked at me with that bored look of what else is new. And I said, no, I am. I have to take charge of this. Nobody's going to come and feed us. Nobody's going to take care of us. Nobody's going to offer me that magnificent job. We're going to have to earn it, and I'm putting plans together starting today to set about to earn it. 3 months later, I'd started a business. And by August of 75, I bought an old beaten-up bulldozer, and I welded on it for 2 weeks. I rolled it out to the that is our faith. It is the management of our own faith. That's sovereign. We can protect that. At least they haven't touched that. But the second most sovereign thing you have is your health, your body, your skin, and everything inside it. You can't have a government takeover of your health. You can't have the government telling you you don't get this test and you shall pay this price and we're going to give you this policy. And if you can't afford it, we're going to charge somebody else to buy you a policy that the government approves and give you the 15-member IPAB board, an independent payment advisory board that will decide if you get a hip replacement, if you get a knee, if you get an x-ray. We can't have that. The second most sovereign thing we have is our health, our skin, and everything inside it. And Obamacare is the nationalization, the government takeover of our health. We can't have it. It's got to go. The full 100% repeal of Obamacare. Second is looking at the debt and deficit. When I first went to Congress, I went to the chairman of the Budget Committee and said, where's our balanced budget? He said, we can't balance the budget. We're at war. We've just been attacked by, in September 11th, 2001. We had to stand up TSA and our military, and they attacked our financial centers. We can't possibly balance the budget. Well, I thought we could. Set about to write a balanced budget. It was a very difficult task back in those days. But as we moved through, here's what happened. In the middle of the war in Iraq, we got within $160 billion of balancing the budget. $160 billion is a long ways away for my pocketbook. But boy, I'd like to have that task today. We could balance the budget in a week if we had if it was only $160 billion. The president offered a $1.33 trillion deficit spending budget for this year. He's adding trillion-dollar budgets every year, and we're looking at, just in a few days, we'll go over the top of $16 trillion. My most recent little granddaughter, little Reagan Ann King, she was born, and she came into the world, and I got to hold her in the first minutes of her life. Just a glorious thing. And I had to give her up to her mother, of course. But little Reagan's share of the national debt the day she was born was $44,000. $44,000. That's the debt on the head of every baby born into America then. On her first birthday, her share was $48,000. And when she was a year and a half, her share was $51,000. Now she's 20 months or a little more than that old. It's a little more than that, $51,000. And only half the people have a federal income tax liability, so I think her share is $102,000. Poor girl. No wonder she wakes up at night once in a while and cries. Well, we've got to turn that around. And I've come to the conclusion that the will spend under 5%. It just crept above that again the other day. The rest of the nation's seen 8+% unemployment, sometimes up to 18 in certain states. But we've held it together. We reached out and helped each other. We've been creative. We invested capital. And I look back over that span of time that I've had the privilege to serve you in Congress, and here's a couple pieces of math to think about. On the year that I went to Washington, that was 2003, the value of crops and livestock sold in Iowa was $12 billion. Now, that's a lot of money. 8 years later, not 10, it was $24 billion. And ag land prices then were $60 billion. Just 9 years later, that's when we did the math, nothing particularly significant about it. 9 years later, $60 billion worth of ag land became over $200 billion worth of just ag land in Iowa. So we've gained $140 billion worth of capital to work with, and what have we done? Invested that in renewable energy and value added and education, our higher education and research. We are on a roll. We're hit by a drought, and we're going to bridge through this. And I support the drought relief that's there, especially for our livestock people. But we will get through this like we've gotten through everything else, and it goes down to the value of our land and the faith and the character of our people. I am very optimistic about Iowa and Iowans. You lift my head and my heart to be part of this, and I will do my part. I know that in the 5th district now, the 32 counties, I've been to all 286 towns. And we've had 2 district directors over that period of time. They also did the outreach and went to all 286 towns, separately as a matter of going out to meet people and try to be connected to serve you. I do know Iowa. I can't say that I've demonstrated I love this state more than Terry Branstad, but I give him a lot of credit because nobody's loved this state any better than Terry Branstad or any more. But I do love this state and the people, and we're going to do the outreach, and we'll be into your communities. If we haven't been there now, we're going to be there. And part of it is laying the foundation so that we can step up and do a good job of representing you the other side of this election. So I'm going to work to put Mitt Romney in the White House. I'm going to work to put my good friend Paul Ryan in as vice president. And we are going to have a strong voice from Iowa right there in the West Wing and sometimes in the Oval Office of the White House. Your voice will be heard in Washington, D.C., and Iowans will lead with our values, our work ethic for the rest of the country. They come and ask me now, what do they think in the Midwest? That's because they know you lead. We're going to continue to lead, and we're going to do this 2 years from now, 4 years from now, on and beyond until America is back together again and we have restored our American dream and restored the pillars of American exceptionalism. Thank you very much. God bless you. Appreciate it all. Thank you.